Hello, and thanks for joining me on Putting Nutrition First in Zambia. I'm Josie Piri. Today, World Food Programme Country Representative Jennifer Bitonde talks business as we unpack forging links with the private sector in supporting nutrition. Movers and Shakers in Nutrition introduces a lady whose knack for solving other people's problems made her a huge success in nutrition. And something fishy on our recipe today. I'll be back right after this.
My name is Ricarda Schwarz and I am the Regional Coordinator of the Food and Nutrition Security Enhanced Resilience Project implemented by GIZ on behalf of the German Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. So the main objective of the FENSA project is to work together with our government partner, the National Food and Nutrition Commission, NFNC, to improve the nutritional situation of households in Katete and Petauke districts, mainly focusing on women of reproductive age and on children up to the age of 2 years. We are currently in the process of extending the project, and we are aiming at reaching up to 56,000 households within Eastern Province in Katete and Petauke. So we have very good partnerships. The one I already mentioned is with NFNC. Then we have our implementing partner, Catholic Relief Services, CIS. And CIS is supporting us in the area of nutrition and WASH education and sensitization. And they are using the so-called care group model.
We are using the care group model. First, we have the project director, then we have the nutrition officer. The nutrition officer has got 4 health and nutrition field supervisors under him. With the supervisors, we have 5 health promoters under each supervisor. The health promoters, they have 50 nutrition volunteers each, and each nutrition volunteer has 10 households.
Then we also have a second very good cooperation with the Ministry of Agriculture. So we are working together with them by working through intermediaries like lead farmers, so volunteers also in the communities. They are trained by us in certain topics, mainly nutrition sensitive agriculture. And then through the public extension services, we're working together to give them the necessary trainings and the support to go into the households and train them in good agricultural practices. We have different fields of intervention, but as several evaluations of our project have shown, we have contributed to the improvement of the so-called IDDS. So that means the nutritional situation of women of reproductive age has really increased through the interventions of the project. And also we have seen that the meal frequency and the diversity and quality of meals of young children have also improved. So we are making great progress. We are also working in the area of WASH, so promoting good hygiene practices. And the studies of the project have also shown that the number of households practicing these good hygiene practices have increased.
Welcome back to the studio, and I have the pleasure of hosting World Food Programme Country Representative Jennifer Bitonde. Jennifer, thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Now, when somebody hears about the World Food Programme, the images that it conjures up are food relief, trucks, and so on. But I believe that this is a narrow view. Would like you to start this show by giving us the opportunity to profile what the World Food Programme really is and what it does.
No, that's true. You know, when people hear about the World Food Programme, they think about food, they think about relief. Because since, you know, many years back, WFP has really been very active in humanitarian relief, especially in countries that are ravaged by war as well as natural disasters. But of course, the organization has transitioned a lot. And it is the food assistance branch of the United Nations and the largest or the world's largest humanitarian organization addressing hunger and also promoting food security. But being operational in about 80 countries, supporting or providing food assistance, cash assistance, as well as capacity strengthening and technical support in these countries, we reach more than 90 million people globally. But in Zambia, we do more than providing relief. So for instance, the World Food Program in Zambia works with the government to provide assistance to people that are affected by hazards and shocks so that they can be able to meet their immediate food and nutrition needs. So that's the relief part of it. But we do work also with other government ministries as well as partners to support smallholder farmers so that they can have access to markets, so that they can have access to inputs and grow enough food for them to survive. And the support we provide allows them really to enhance their incomes as well as build their resilience against climate shocks. Another area that we focus on in Zambia is supporting government institutions as well as partners that work in the social protection space. For instance, institutions that support school feeding, institutions that provide social cash transfer, so that they are able to deliver services more efficiently and also at scale. And lastly, we also work with institutions that support nutrition so that they can scale up nutrition and make sure that people have sufficient nutritious and safe food to eat. So in a nutshell, that's what WFP does. It's more than relief. We do provide technical support. And the private sector and other partners are also key to the work that we do, and they're very central to our strategy in Zambia.
Thank you very much. Let's zero in on the private sector. How are you working with the private sector in order to support nutrition?
With the private sector, we actually work across value chain. So we interact with the private sector across different value chains. So in terms of engaging the private sector, we do support them at the production level, where the agro-dealers, for instance, as well as farmers, produce food for consumption so that they can increase availability. Then at marketing level, we do work with a group of aggregators, building capacity of aggregators so that they can provide a stable and sustainable market to smallholder farmers. Then at processing level, through the Sun Business Network, we do work with businesses so that they can produce and distribute nutritious food to consumers. So we do interact with different private sector actors along, the value chain, the agriculture value chain.
That's quite a lot. Please tell me a little bit more about the Sun Business Network.
So the Sun Business Network is the private sector branch of the Sun movement. And it was formed so that it can really support the government or work with partners to enhance, or improve nutritional outcomes. When the Sustainable Development Goals were launched, I think what came out clearly is that no single entity can address malnutrition alone. The causes of malnutrition are so complex, they require different actors or different stakeholders to address them. They require multi-sector approach. So the Sun Business Network offers that platform where even the private sector, who are usually considered as just businesses that are there to make profit can actually contribute to addressing nutritional outcomes. And the reason why the private sector is so important in terms of addressing nutrition is because they are into food production, food processing, distribution, marketing as well. And they have a role to play. Because if the private sector is kept out, they are the ones who are producing most of the food that we consume, whether it's through agriculture or importing and transporting food and storing it. It has to be safe, it has to be available, and without the private sector, no other entity can actually do this on their own.
What impact do you think these businesses are making on nutrition?
I think they're making a big impact. Think about production. They have the technology, they have the know-how, the skills, the resources to make a difference. So if you look at the food that we eat, yes, a lot of it comes from smallholder farmers, who, by the way, are also considered as private sector members because they do produce food for their own consumption, but also food to sell as well, so that they can, you know, make a profit out of what they do. And also others are, you know, producing food on a large scale. If you look at how the food moves from the farms up to the plate, it's the private sector that is really playing a big role. So, you know, the role they play not only in production but in processes, in processing as well as in marketing, I think they have really made a big impact. A lot of nutritious food that we have in the shops or even, you know, in the market, be it fresh vegetables, it's because of the contribution of the private sector. What we probably need to do more is to raise awareness so that they can understand that some of them are already contributing to improving nutrition. And if they can scale up some of the interventions and make sure that, you know, a lot of food, nutritious food which is produced does not only remain in urban centers, we can make sure that also people in rural areas benefit from that.
Very interesting. So, are there any challenges that you face when working with private businesses?
I think we would want to have more private businesses come on board, especially those in marketing. We would like them to, you know, we would like to leverage the capacities they have so that we can raise awareness about, you know, consumption of healthier diets, you know. And we would also like to see more participation of the private sector, you know, be it hospitals, be it, you know, schools, join us so that we can really, you know, implement social behavior change communication campaigns that will raise awareness to the consumers on making healthier food choices. Because a lot of times we have food in the market that is not necessarily good for our health, but, you know, we need to start being responsible also in the way we market this food, because it can have a negative impact on people.
Yes, that's very interesting. Is there any desired support or any support that you desire as a World Food Program to help you make a better impact in what you're doing with the businesses, that is?
Well, I think we do have quite a lot of support. The Sun Business Network is convened by WFP and the National Food and Nutrition Commission. And already there's leadership from the government in terms of really pushing the nutrition agenda ahead. What we would like to, what we could do is maybe scale up a number of nutrition interventions that have succeeded in the past so that we don't lose momentum in our fight against malnutrition. We need to take the campaign beyond Lusaka, where people have access to the TV and probably radio coverage, because the problem is more prominent in rural areas. And if we can have all the partners coming together so that we can design programs and plans that can allow us to raise awareness about good nutrition. Malnutrition affects children, affects women, it affects everybody. So if we don't have a multi-stakeholder, approach to addressing this problem, we will not be able to achieve some of the sustainable development goals that we have subscribed to. So thanks to the support that we also get from donors, they've been providing us funding that has allowed us to be able to engage, the private sector in this fight against malnutrition and hunger. We would like to scale up, so we need more resources and we need more communication companies to come on board and support us to really spread the message, because we need every person to know how they can fight this war.
As we close, your final word of appeal.
Well, for me, it's to encourage every person who really has the motivation and the will and to fight malnutrition. We do have frameworks in place that are helping us and guiding us to address the challenge of malnutrition. The Sustainable Development Goals really provide us a framework to take on malnutrition and eliminate all forms of malnutrition. The National Development Plan 7 has amazing strategies that if we implemented what it calls us to do, then we will be able to address this problem. So I would like to appeal to all partners and all actors who are in the nutrition space, including those that are not in the nutrition space but are well-wishers, to join us in this fight against malnutrition.
Thank you very much, Jennifer Bitonde, for joining us and giving us those very useful insights.
Thank you so much.
It's now time for Movers and Shakers in Nutrition. She had a rare gift. At only 12 years old, she solved people's problems and minted out money out of it. Later in life, she opened a restaurant where customers literally stood when having their lunch, and she called it a standing buffet. Today, her name is synonymous with food. Let's meet Sylvia Banda.
My name is Sylvia Banda. I'm a mother of 4, and I've been I started business at the age of 12. I've grown with it, and I still enjoy to do business. When I went into the world of business, in fact, I wanted only to work for 5 years, formal employment, to just gain some experience, but I ended up only working for 3 years. That was in the Ministry of Education. Then I called it a quit. That is how I started business. And even the day that I went to start the business, by then I was married to Mr. Banda. I went to Village Industry Service. I cleaned up the place. I started cooking, but I asked myself, I said, oh, no, that I've opened it today. So I remembered, I said, okay, I have to do some advertising. I went, I closed the windows, I closed the door, I switched on my 2-plate cooker. I put on the cooking oil. When it was very hot, I started frying the tomatoes and the onions and the garlic. Each time I fry, I put a bit of water, just like that, until the whole place was filled up with the aroma. Then I went and opened the window. I saw the smoke going out, nice aroma. And then I opened the door as well. So 10 minutes later, people started coming. We have felt a nice smell. Have you opened today? I said, oh, yes. I was the happiest person because I knew that my advert had worked. So it was from there at lunch hour, people came and I started serving them. After serving them, I saw that they were standing, they were not moving. So that is when I stopped them. I said, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I know you are wondering as to where to sit. They said, yes. I said, okay, what you are going to have today is what we in catering we call standing buffet. I had no tables and chairs. We sat down with my husband to say, how can we do something to contribute to national development? Says, why can't we start promoting the consumption of indigenous food? Because it's highly nutritious. And also when we serve that kind of food, we are not just after the money. We are contributing to the wealth of the, health of the people. What we were interested in, that people should not just be eating food to fill up the stomach, but it should have the nutrients.
Now that you're hooked, let's scale our recipe for today. And that brings us to the end of yet another exciting show today. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and visit our website at the address given on your screen. Many thanks to the production crew. I'm Josie Piri saying, catch you later.
Nutrition